Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now today we're going to make a fun Sedan Street Cruiser car. Now in my previous video with this new release I did the hot rod flames and I used the new stencil that came out called Highway Horizons Desert. And I knew that when I got the set last time it had a stencil with it. It's called Scenic Drive stencil, and this is it here. And I thought I would do a little compare and contrast in the stencil. It'd been a minute since I'd looked at it. I'd kind of forgotten this is just a circle stencil. The new stencil that came out is just fantastic, and I've got to say it's probably my favorite. But I wanted to go ahead and use this one to take a look at it and just use it with this Sedan Street Cruiser car that we're going to do. So I have sped this up, and we're just going to get some ink laid down on our card panel. Now this is a 6-piece stencil that we've got here, so there's several layers, and it just creates a circular sunset scene, and we're just going to get some ink laid down on here. Now I used my Distress Oxides. Those are the ink option that I have, and I'm going to bring in dried marigold, mustard seed. I'll use some antique linen that I won't like, and we'll cover it up. I'll bring in some mowed lawn, some pine needles, and some speckled egg are the colors that we use. So right now I'm laying my dried marigold down on there. It's just kind of a light orangey color. And then I'm going to bring in my mustard seed, and we're going to put a yellow ring around here, and we'll just get it laid down on here. And then I was kind of at a loss for the next color that I was going to use, so I brought in my antique linen. I think that's what it's called. And I did not like this layer here. So I'm just going to get my stencil laid down on there, and I'm going to bring in the linen, and it kind of creates like a brownish color. It wasn't as light as I thought it would be. And so I'll get this ink laid down on here, and then I'll realize that I don't like it. And I'm thinking, oh, do I start over? But I just kept going. And then I decided at the end I would fix it, and that's what I did. So this video is going to be more about stenciling than assembling of our car, because I lost my footage. But we will get this stencil done, and then we'll come back in as I'm putting the tail end of the car together, literally, and then we'll get our card assembled. And then we'll lay the two cards side by side, and you can kind of check them out and see how the stencils differ. But I've got my shabby shutters that I'm using for one set of trees, and then I'll bring in my mowed lawn for the next set of trees, and we'll have some variation of color in our trees. Now once we get our car laid down on our stenciled area, you won't see much of the trees, but you'll see some peeking through the windows. So I'm just going to bring in my mowed lawn. It's more of a yellow-green, a little bit brighter, and we'll get that laid down on there. And the scene's starting to come together. Now this next layer is like your street layer. And so I'm going to get it lined up on there. And then for this, I'm just going to bring in some black soot, and we'll lay some, oh, actually I'm going to do first I'm going to do the clouds, and this is where I brought in my speckled egg. And we'll just lay some color down on there for our clouds, and then we'll do our street with the black soot. And I've got those nice big blending brushes from Spellbinders. Now for my black, my black soot, I use Black Hero Arts blending brush, and it's a really nice blending brush as well. I find the bigger the brushes, the better they blend. So there we've got our black soot laid down on there. I'm just adding a little bit more color. And now we've done all 6 layers. Now here's where I'm looking at it. I'm like, I want to fix this. And I'm trying to find the right stencil to get it fixed. And so I'll get it laid down on there, get it lined back up, and then I decide to bring in the Spiced Marmalade, which is a darker color that I know will cover it up. And Distress Oxides lay on top of each other, so you can pretty much lay some ink on top and fix your boo-boos. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going to do this, and then I'll be a lot happier with the way that the panel looks. Doesn't that look better? So I'm going to get this pulled off of here. Now I've got some really thin cardstock. I made a mistake and bought the wrong weight of cardstock. I was trying something new, and got the wrong kind. So it's really, really thin, but it'll be all right. We're going to actually die cut this circle out. I remembered that there was a die from the previous release that would die cut this circle out, and we'll wind up doing that. Now here's where I went to turn the camera off and realized that it was off. And so we're just going to get the tail end of this. I'm sorry that we don't have the assembly of all this. However, I want to mention that the assembly guides are on Spellbinders' website. If you scroll through the pictures, you will be able to find the assembly guide and you can print it. I actually printed it for myself and I was using it as I was assembling this, and I even thought that I showed it on camera when my camera wasn't running, the assembly guide, so that you could check it out. But you can definitely get that off of the Spellbinders site and use it as you're assembling the cards. So this will finish it off. It's really cool. It's fun, and we're gonna go ahead, and I'm laying this on here and I'm like, this thing has got a circle die that goes with it. I'm going to fix the bumper. It moved. I'm using that metallic cardstock and it takes a minute to adhere. And so now I'm going to run and grab the die. I'm like, there's a die that goes with this and I need to go grab it. We'll get this die cut out, get it laid down on our panel, and again, thinking that you're starting and stopping the camera, you miss the footage. So I basically die cut out several sentiments from the new sentiment set that goes with it that's called Cruising by Sentiments. And I've chosen to die cut Cruising By to say Happy Father's Day. And then I also die cut out the Wishing You Endless Smiles of Joy. So we're going to put the Cruising By to say on the front of the card, and we will add the Happy Father's Day as well. I'm going to pop it up with some foam tape, and then we'll add the rest of our sentiments. So this is a shorter video simply because I lost some footage. So I apologize for that, but I wanted to go ahead and show what I had and represent this second new die, the Sedan, so that you could check it out. So we'll just get this laid down on there. And then we'll add our Happy Father's Day. And I'm going to have a Happy Father's Day card that I can use. I did take that blue panel that I laid my circle down on and I embossed it with the Cloud 9 embossing folder from Spellbinders. I thought since we've kind of got a scenic sky background that I would just put a cloud background, embossed background behind it, and so I did use that. And so I'm just trimming this Happy Father's Day down. I did use the die to die cut it out, but it's a longer die, and I just wanted to shorten it up and not cover up as much of my scenic panel. And so we'll get some glue laid down on here, and then we'll add our sentiment on the inside as well. So I'm going to try and straighten this up a little bit, realizing it's not going to move, but then I looked at it and I thought it's okay. So we'll get our Happy Father's Day laid down on there. And then I've got Wishing You Endless Smiles of Joy. We'll glue it up and put it on the inside of our card. Now, if you haven't seen Mindy Eggen's previous release, she had 3 other vehicles. She had the classic car, the timeless truck, and then the muscle car. And we're going to get this Sedan Street Cruiser finished up, and we use the Scenic Drive stencil on it, and then I'll bring in the Hot Rod Flames that I use the Highway Horizons Desert stencil on, which I like a lot better, but they're both very cool. So here's a couple pictures you can check out. If you like, consider hitting that like, and if you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe. I really appreciate you watching. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.